Yes?
ちょっと話を聞かせてくれる？
Well, here I am.
君と出会った時に話していた、ビジョンのことだけど。
I knew this would come up sooner or later. I don't know how to explain, but I had a dream. In it, there was an impenetrable darkness. It was so dense, so real. And there was a noise, a terrible, ungodly noise. I stood on a peak and watched as the darkness consumed everything. And when the storm swallowed the last of the sun's light, I fell. And the darkness drew me in.
恐ろしい夢だ。それからどうなったんだ？
When I woke, I went to the Chantry's gardens, as I always do. But that day, the rose bush in the corner had flowered. Everyone knew that bush was dead. It was grey and twisted and gnarled, the ugliest thing you ever saw. But there it was, a single beautiful rose. It was as though the Maker stretched out his hand to say, even in the midst of this darkness, there is hope and beauty. Have faith.
それで俺たちを助けようと決めたのか。
In my dream, I fell. Or maybe I jumped. I'd do anything to stop the blight. I know that we can do it. There are so many good things in the Maker's world. How can I sit by while the blight devours everything?
でも教会は、創造主が人々を見放したって言ってるよ。黄金の都市を汚しただけでなく、アンドラステを死なせた人々に怒り、背を向けてしまったと。
He's still here. I hear him in the wind and the waves. I feel him in the sunlight that warms my skin. I know what the Chantry says about the Maker, and what should I believe? What I feel in my heart, or what others tell me?
君が正しいと思うことを信じればいいと思うよ、レリアナ。
Thank you. It's nice to find someone who agrees. I know what I know, and no one will ever make that untrue.
なるほどね。修道院での生活はどんな感じだったんだ？
Quiet. It was a life suited for contemplation. In the cloister, away from the fuss and the flurry of the cities, I found peace. And in that stillness, I could hear the Maker. But it was not perfect. Some of my Chantry fellows were condescending. That is the nature of religious folk, I suppose.
どういうこと？
When I talked about my beliefs, that the Maker reveals himself in the beauty of his world, they treated me with disdain. They want to believe that he's gone, so that when he turns his gaze on them, it means they are special, chosen. He cannot possibly have love for all, the sick and the weary, the beggars and the fools.
俺は教会の考えより、レリアナの考えの方が好きだな。
Thank you. Maybe I am wrong. But it is the Maker's place to decide if I am worthy, not men, not the Chantry.
確かにな。けど、なぜ君みたいな人が、ロザリングにいたんだ？
What is meant by someone like me?
それは。君みたいに美しくて魅力的な女性がゴニョゴニョ。
And there were no beautiful, charming women in the cloisters, you think? You would be wrong. There were many lovely young initiates in the Lothering cloister, all of them chaste and virtuous. It added to their mystique, because then they were forbidden, and forbidden fruit is the sweeter, no?
そんな意味で言ったわけじゃ。もういいからロザリングの話に戻ろうよ。
The Chantry provides succor and safe harbor to all who seek it. I chose to stay and become affirmed.
誓う？
We affirm our belief in the Maker, in Andraste and the chant, but other than that, there are no vows taken.
でもどうして、君は安全な避難所が必要だったんだ？
The Chantry does not pride, and you should. I desired time apart from the world. I was a traveling minstrel in Orlais. Tales and songs were my life. I performed, and they rewarded me with applause and coin. And my skill in battle? Well, you pick up different skills when you travel, yes? Yes, of course.
オーレイで吟遊詩人を、今度ぜひ歌を聴かせてもらいたいな。どうして、オーレイを出て、フェレルデンに来たんだ？
My mother was from Denerim, and I consider myself a Ferelden. Mother served an Orlesian noblewoman who lived here when Orlais ruled. When Orlais was defeated, and the common folk began to resent the presence of any Orlesian, the lady returned to Orlais. She took my mother with her. I was born in Orlais, and did not set foot in Ferelden till much later. Mother was always telling me stories of her homeland. I think she missed it.
レリアナは、オーレイ生まれのフェレルデン人なんだな。君のお母さんは元気でいるのか？
Mother died when I was very young. Lady Cecily let me stay with her. I had no one else. She was quite old then, and she had me study music and dance to entertain her. It is unfair that I have more memories of Cecily than my mother.
そうだったのか。幼かったんだし、そうなってしまうのは理解できるよ。
Strangely, the only thing I really remember of Mother was her scent. She kept dried flowers in her closet amongst her clothes. Small white Ferelden wildflowers with a sweet fragrance. Mother called them Andrastis Grace. They were very rare in Orlais.
アンドラステの恵みか、覚えておこう。逆に、オーレイが恋しくならないか？
I miss Valroyaux. Unlike other cities where the people are the lifeblood and the character, Valroyaux was her own person, and her people little more than decorations. There was always music in Valroyaux, streaming from the many windows, quiet refrains and triumphant choruses, and always, floating above that all, the chant, coming from the grand cathedral. It was magnificent.
バルロヨーか。俺も父上から話を聞いたことがある。とても美しい都市だそうだね。
Oh, it would take me a day or two to talk about the many splendors of Orlais, her golden fields, her lush meadows. Of course there are good things and bad things about Orlais, like anywhere else. Sometimes I miss it dearly, and sometimes I'm glad I'm rid of it. And you will laugh at this, but I miss the fine things I had in Orlais.
例えば、どんなもの？
Dresses, fine dresses and furs. And shoes, of course. One can't mingle with nobility with bad shoes, you see. Orlais is very fashionable. Almost ridiculously so. But the shoes. Living with those ridiculous trends was worth it for the shoes.
おう。俺も靴にはちょっとうるさいよ。
When I left Orlais, the fashion was shoes with delicate tapered heels and embellishments in the front. A ribbon, perhaps. Or embroidery. In soft colors, of course. It was spring.
すごいな。フェレルデンじゃ、そんなおしゃれな靴はないからな。俺も靴を買いに、オーレイに行ってみたいよ。
I had my eye on a pair my shoemaker was working on. It was covered in pale blue silk, with amber beads on the toe. The shoes made in Orlais were exquisite. Not at all like these clunky fur-lined leather boots you have in Ferelden. Ugh, just look at them.
フェレルデン人としては、複雑な心境だけど、実用性重視で、見た目は考えていないのは確かだ。けど、レリアナならどんな靴も似合うと思うよ。
Thank you. It's kind of you to say so, even wearing these mud-covered horrors. They're sturdy shoes, but sometimes a girl just wants to have pretty feet.
可愛い靴を見つけたら、買ってくるかな。ねえ、レリアナ。オーレイでは、金融詩人はスパイも兼ねてるって聞いたけど、本当？
Where did you hear this?
ずっと昔に誰かから聞いたんだ。
And you believe everything you hear? Not all minstrels are spies. Most are just singers and storytellers. But some of them are what we call bards.
バード？じゃあ、バードがスパイなのか？
Bards are minstrels and more. Spies, as you say. Some say there is a bard order, but I don't think this is true. Many bards work alone or in small groups, doing the bidding of a patron who pays for their services. If there is an organization behind it all, no one knows who they are.
このフェレルデンもスパイしているのかな？
Some do. Mostly it is nobles spying on other nobles. In Orlais, there is much rivalry amongst the highborn. They fight over land, influence, and the favor of the empress. But they cannot do this openly because it is impolite, and in public, they wear smiling faces and pretend to be civil. In secret, they plot and scheme to destroy each other. It is a game completely meaningless to anyone but its players.
なんだか恐ろしい話だな。レリアナはバードのことをよく知っているね。君もバードだったのか？
I have revealed too much, it seems. But it doesn't matter what I used to be. It is the past.
あまり話したくないみたいだ。なぜフェレルデンの修道女として暮らしていたんだ？
I found myself in Ferelden and sheltered from bad weather in the Chantry. And when the storm passed, I just did not want to leave. I like to say the Maker brought me here.
レリアナの過去、気になるな。
I lied to you, you know, about why I left Orlais.
え？話してくれるのかい？でもなぜ？
I didn't feel like talking about it then. What happened to me? Maybe it will affect us. maybe not, but you should know. I came to Ferelden and the Chantry because I was being hunted in Orlais.
追われていた？どうして？
I was framed, betrayed by someone I thought I knew and could trust. Marjolaine. She was my mentor and friend. She taught me the bardic arts, how to enchant with words and song, to carry myself like a highborn lady, to blend in as a servant. The skills I learned, I used to serve her, my bard master, because I loved her, and because I enjoyed what I did.
愛していたって？
She was a remarkable woman. I cannot fully express the admiration I had for her, or the depth of my affection. I thought I knew her. My devotion to her blinded me to her less than noble attributes. You can say it was my fault. There was a man I was sent to kill. I was to bring Marjolaine everything he carried. I don't know who this man was. She gave me a name and a description, and I hunted him down. I found documents on his body, sealed documents.
重要な書類だったのか？
It turns out that they were. My curiosity got the better of me. Something told me that I needed to know what was in those letters. Marjolaine had been selling all kinds of information about Orlais to other countries, Nevara and Antiva among others. It was treason.
でも、スパイ活動が、バードの仕事だろ？
Some. But I had always assumed Marjolaine only operated within Orlais. This was an unhappy surprise for me. My life as bard taught me that my loyalties should be kept fluid. My concern was not that she was a traitor, but that her life would be in danger if she was caught. Orlais has been at war with so many countries. It takes a harsh view of such things, as I later discovered.
それはそうだろうけど。それで、君はどうしたの？
I should have left well alone, but I didn't. I had to tell Marjolaine I feared for her life. She brushed aside my concern. She admitted her guilt, but said it was in the past. That is why the documents had to be destroyed, she said. I believed her. I kept believing up till the moment they showed me the documents, altered by her hand, to make me look the traitor.
マジョレーンが、君を裏切り者に仕立て上げたのか。その彼らってのは？
The Orlesian guards. They captured me. Did terrible things to make me confess and reveal my conspirators. It was a traitor's punishment I endured. And at the end of it, all that awaited me was eternity in an unmarked grave.
それは、辛かっただろうね。マジョレーンへ復讐しようとは思わなかったのか？
No. Survival was my only concern at the time. The skills Marjolaine taught me were good for something at least. I broke free when I saw the opportunity. I did not seek Marjolaine out. If she thought I was coming for her, she would have me caught again.
なるほど。だからフェレルデンに、ロザリングに来たんだな。
I was tempted to confront her. I was furious, betrayed. But what could I do against her? And so I fled to Ferelden, to the Chantry and the Maker. Ferelden protected my person, and the Maker saved my soul. And that is the reason I am here. The real reason. No more lies between us, at least in this.
そうだったのか。俺を信じて話してくれたんだな。ありがとう。
It feels good to have this off my chest. Thank you for listening and understanding. Flowers? For me? They're beautiful.
レリアナが前に話してた、アンドラステの恵みだよ。レッドクリフで見つけたんだ。お母さんとの思い出の花だろ？
These were her favorite. I haven't seen these in such a long time. They smell just like Mother used to. Thank you. Thank you so much for remembering.
喜んでもらえてよかった。